Hello everyone, this is MC Deck Discussions and I'm Abi Small, and today I'm going to do some demonstration play. So this isn't actually going to be the play of a game. This is just to demonstrate a deck that I've been trying out that is basically a guest deck. It's not one of my decks, but it was a deck that I thought looked like a lot of fun, and so I thought I'd go ahead and take it up against Magneto. So I played twice, and I'll just show you right here. So you can see this is Peter Porker. Really Spider-Ham, right? So taking it up against Magneto, played twice against Standard, defeated him, and then twice in Expert. I am currently in Expert right now, finishing up my second game, and he only has 5 hit points left, and I could clearly just crush him right away here. I could flip over with Peter Porker, do a point of damage, and then 2 damage here, 2 damage here, and the game would be over. Okay. However, I wanted to show you the ways that this deck can work and some of the interactions in it. So I thought you might like to kind of see that. All right, so let me go ahead and share the deck here. And before I do that, though, I want to mention this is done with DragnCards, which is just a website and very easy to just play right on the website. And a tutorial was done by Solo Marvel Champion. I will link his video tutorial on how to use this. That's how I learned how to play myself. And then there's some extra instructions you can get, right from DragnCards that can help you if there's anything you forget. Right. So in any case, I do highly recommend that video from Solo Marvel Champion. Like I said, I'll link that video. In the meanwhile, let me show you what deck I'm using. And if I don't already have the video out for it, I'm also going to be making a video on this deck to have a deck discussion on it. All right, so let's go ahead and check out that deck. All right, so the name of the deck is Spider's Akimbo, and it is a Spider-Ham deck and is built as a Web Warrior deck, which is why I decided to just go for it right away and face Magneto. I've been using Web Warrior decks recently quite a few times, so I figured I could handle just going right up against Magneto right away. And the name of the creator here of this is Football Coach. He had posted this deck on Discord, and when I checked it out, I thought it looked like a ton of fun. Also, you can, like it says Spider-Ham engine here, if you look at this description, it can tell you exactly how this deck works. And so I'm just going to give you kind of a physical representation of it or virtual representation with DragnCards. But in any case, here's a quick look at the deck. And again, I will make sure to link this deck in the description of this video so that you could always click on it to check it out again later, or now while you're watching, and be able to duplicate it, copy it that way, or use it as inspiration for your own build. This is a really cool build, and I had a lot of fun playing it. In any case, let's get back to the demonstration, and I'll share with you where we are in the game. All right, so first let me point out where Magneto is. So notice he's in stage 3. So I defeated stage 2 and got him down to 5 points of damage, and I was on alter ego side, so he went up against me, and he was confused at the time, but he ended up bringing out, what was it, Shadow of the Past was his encounter card, and so ended up bringing out the Green Gobbler and Nefarious Trap. But notice, none of these minions that are out right now have guard, so I can just attack Magneto straight to his face and not worry about them, and I also don't have to worry about Nefarious Trap either. All right, so let's go ahead and get into my side of the deck, of the board state now. Okay, so you can see on my side I have Organic Webbing, which adds an extra thwart and also allows Peter Porker, or actually it's a hero action, so it allows Spider-Ham to ready. And then I have Endurance out for 3 extra hit points. Spider-Man 2099 is out. Spider-Man Peter Parker is out. Web of Life and Destiny, and then I also have Avengers Mansion, Clarity of Purpose, Team Building Exercise, and Helicarrier. In the deck is another team building exercise, but I only have one of those out, which is perfectly fine. All right, so let's go ahead and check out this some of this gameplay. So first thing is, why don't we go ahead and get ourselves some card draw with Avengers Mansion. And we roll right into a swinging web pick, which of course could do this damage. So speaking of which, the damage, so there's only 5 hit points. I know you probably can't see this number very well or even at all because it's really tiny. And Peter Porker has 9 hit points here. But I'm going to actually just put it to 0 and just see where the hit points end up at the end. We don't need to do a lot of damage. This deck isn't about doing tons of damage, but it's about doing lots of damage or a fair amount of damage consistently time after time. once you start getting it set up, or even start to get parts of this engine set up. And then, so now let's go ahead and look at the next thing here. All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and exhaust and heal up for 5. All right, so that's going to put it up to 14, which normally his max is 12, but we have endurance out. And so that's going to put a tune counter on him. Okay, so now let's go ahead and flip over to hero side. All right, and I think I'm going to go ahead and play Spider here. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to use Clarity of Purpose and Team Building Exercise, which will allow us, Team Building Exercise cheapens Spider, and that deals 1 damage to ourselves, which also gives us another tune counter. And so now Spider can come out. All right, and then let's go ahead and attack with Spider, doing 1 point of damage, taking 1 consequential. And so there is our first points of damage. So I'm going to, I didn't finish saying this. So the current damage is, it's at 5. I'm going to put it at 0 to begin with. So then this is basically our first point of damage. Notice Magneto does not have a tough status on him. All right, next I'm going to go ahead and attack with Spider-Man 2099, taking 1 consequential damage and dealing 2 damage, and then igniting this response, we return a Web War ally in play to its owner's hand. So go ahead and do that. And because Web of Life and Destiny is played, we're going to draw a card. And that gives us the huge wooden hammer. Actually, that's kind of nice. All right, so we'll see what else happens after that. So let's go ahead and utilize Spider-Man's ability, or his attack. He's going to attack for 1, taking consequential damage, doing 2 more points of damage, bringing the total up to 5 damage so far. And we're going to use that to ready Spider-Man 2099. Then let's go ahead and attack with Spider-Man 2099, again, taking 1 consequential damage and dealing 2 damage. And this time we're going to use his ability to put Spider-Man Peter Parker into hand, which then draws us another card. Kind of hard to find a spot for it. Okay, I'll just put it here. It's gonna, there we go. Okay, good. That was Team Building Exercise that came into hand. All right, and then let's get Spider-Man Peter Parker back into play. So we have this power in all of us. So that'll be 2 wilds right there to begin with. And then I'll use Team Building Exercise for another card. So let's do that. Or actually, let's see, downtime. We're not gonna need that. So that plus these 2, that's 3 different resources for Spider-Man, which we need. And then now he has the ability to attack again, and he will for 2 more points of damage, taking consequential, bringing the total up to 9 points of damage. And we were going to use that to ready Spider-Man 2099. Then let's attack with Spider-Man 2099 again, dealing 2 more points of damage, bringing the total up to 11, and going to use his ability on himself. So note that the consequential damage does not occur before the response, it occurs after. So this will trigger, go back into hand. And once again, Web of Life and Destiny will trigger, getting us another card. All right. Okay, might as well see what happens with this. Let's exhaust Helicarrier and pay 2 from the Strength and Team Building Exercise. That's total 4 to play Spider-Man 2099, who will attack for 2 points of damage, taking a consequential, bring it up to 13, and we'll just use it to put Spider-Man Peter Parker back into hand, triggering Web of Life and Destiny, and drawing another card. All right, at this point, we're probably just going to finish it up. So why don't we go ahead and play the huge wooden hammer. So we'll use Hogwashed and Captain Americat to play the huge wooden hammer. And then we'll use Swinging Web Pig. We'll play Swinging Web Pig with Spider, Spider-Man, and the Power of Leadership. And that's going to be for an additional 6 points of damage, bringing it up to 19. And Confusing Magneto, discard that. And then I didn't mean to attach these. Oh, that must mean, here, let's see, detach. There we go. All right. Oh, that must have come out too. Oh, that's funny. But let's go ahead and use organic webbing to ready Peter Spider-Ham, and that also costs us a tune counter. Then we'll exhaust this and remove a tune counter again and attack. That is, we now has 2 ATK because of that huge wooden hammer, but also 2 more points of damage, dealing 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, up to that should have been 23 points of damage altogether. So like I said, not huge amounts of damage, but all of that interaction back and forth here. And if this weren't the final turn, we could of course make sure that that Spider-Man, Peter Parker, ends up in play at the end to set us up for the next round, and we could do, you know, really nice chunks of damage turn after turn. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this demonstration of how this deck can work, and obviously we could have done some more damage if I had realized I had so many cards in my hand. I didn't realize one of them was Swinging Web Pig was attached to this huge wooden hammer. So could have arranged to do a little bit more damage. But in any case, hopefully that at least gives you an idea of how this deck can work. All right. Have a good one, everybody, and I'll catch you next time.